Once upon a time, there was a king who sent an official to search the entire kingdom for talented individuals. The official traveled far and wide, testing people wherever he went with tricky riddles. Despite his efforts, he had yet to find anyone truly exceptional. One day, while passing through a village, he saw a father and son working in the fields. The father was plowing with a buffalo, and the son was breaking clumps of soil. The official halted his horse and asked, "Hey, old man, how many furrows can your buffalo plow in a day?" The father was taken aback and didn't know how to answer. But before he could speak, the young boy, only 7 or 8 years old, quickly retorted, "Then may I ask you something first, sir? If you can tell me how many steps your horse takes in a day, I'll tell you how many furrows my father's buffalo can plow." The official was stunned, speechless. He thought to himself, "Surely this is the talented one I've been searching for." He asked for the father and son's names, as well as their village, and galloped back to report to the king. The king was delighted upon hearing the news, but to be sure, he wanted to test the boy himself. He ordered that the village be given 3 baskets of sticky rice and 3 male buffaloes, with the command that within a year they must raise those buffaloes to give birth to 9 calves. If they failed, the entire village would be punished. The villagers were dumbfounded and anxious. No one could figure out what to do. Meetings were held, debates were had, but no solution emerged. Everyone feared the worst. When the clever little boy heard of it, he said to his father, "This is a rare blessing from the king. Tell the village to slaughter 2 of the buffaloes and cook 2 baskets of rice for a feast. Keep 1 buffalo and 1 basket of rice for us. I'll take care of the rest." His father protested, "You'll doom us all. This is serious business." But the boy insisted, "Just trust me, father. I'll make everything right." The father went to the communal house and shared his son's plan. Though skeptical, the villagers agreed, but only after having the father and son sign a promise. Then they feasted. A few days later, the father and son packed up and headed for the capital. When they arrived at the palace, the boy told his father to wait outside. He then sneaked past the palace guards and burst into the royal court crying loudly. The startled king ordered him brought forth and asked, "Boy, why are you crying? What's the matter?" "Your Majesty," the boy said, "my mother passed away early, and now my father won't give birth to a little brother for me to play with, so I came here to beg your help." The king and his court burst into laughter. The king chuckled and said, "Silly child, your father is a man. He can't give birth." The boy smiled and replied, "Then why did your Majesty order our village to raise 3 male buffaloes to give birth to 9 calves? Males can't give birth either." The king laughed heartily. "That was just a test. Didn't your village just eat the buffaloes and rice together?" "Yes, your Majesty," said the boy. "We saw it as a royal gift and held a feast in your honor." The king and his ministers were amazed at the boy's cleverness, but the king wanted to test him once more. The next day, while the boy and his father were eating at a government guest house, a royal envoy arrived with a tiny sparrow and a command. The boy must prepare 3 full trays of food using only that 1 bird. The boy calmly asked his father for a sewing needle, handed it to the envoy, and said, "Please return this to His Majesty and ask him to forge me a knife with it, so I can butcher the sparrow." When the king heard this, he was finally convinced of the boy's brilliance. He summoned the father and son to court and rewarded them generously. Around that time, a neighboring kingdom was plotting to invade. To test whether the country had capable minds, they sent a diplomatic envoy with a challenge. They presented a spiral seashell, open at both ends, and demanded that a thread be passed through its winding interior. The king and his court were stumped. Some tried sucking the thread through, others stiffened it with wax. Scholars and wise men were summoned, but none succeeded. Eventually they sought the clever boy's help. When the king's messenger arrived, the boy was playing in the backyard. Upon hearing the challenge, he sang, "Tang, ting, tang, ting, ting, tang." Tie the thread to an ant's back, hold a paper bridge for its track, smear grease on the other end. The ant will march, to the thread's end bend. Then he said, "Just do that, and it'll work." The official rushed back with the idea. The king and his court were overjoyed. Sure enough, the ant successfully carried the thread through the shell, to the amazement of the foreign envoy. Afterward, the king named the boy the royal scholar and had a residence built next to the palace so he could seek his wisdom whenever needed.